message for the ladies and gentlemen around the world and all the ships at sea.
We all make choices, but in the end, our choices make us.
So choose wisely. Subscribe to It's Eric Nagel wherever shows are found, on whatever platform you choose. And as always, leave us a positive review. Would you kindly?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Happy New Year!
Merry New Year!
Happy New Year.
Ha 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 ha! Thank you for correcting my English which stinks. Happy New Year!
It's Eric Nagel, and it starts now.
What up, my Nagel? 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 Talking about George R.R. Martin, not writing. Talking Marvel versus DC, who's more exciting? Talking George Lucas's legacy, high-scoring centipede. Talking Gittles' new beef burrito recipe. Talking about Stephanie McMahon versus Sable. Talking about the Cybermen versus the Weeping Angels. Don't blink, the dialect's more deadly than you think. Talking summer ale, blueberry pale, craft beer, pouring drinks. What up, my Nagel? Deadpool 2 features Cable. Talking Funko Pop, celebrity signed a label. Talking online gaming, bitching and complaining. Talking E-Rock, kissing the feet of Matt Groening. Warner Brothers properties, Superman's a mockery. Weird Al concerts, Kevin Smith's debauchery. Rick and Morty fun zone. The Lego build team, can I have your attention? Possible Donkey Kong kill screen. What up, my Nagel? What up, my Nagel? What up, my Nagel? What up, my Nagel?
Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear.
It's Eric Nagel.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of It's Eric Nagel. That is me. Over in the upside down is Gittles.
What up?
Over on the right side is Trevor.
Hello, Miss Lady.
And welcome to the program. The year 2019, we are here.
We're here from the future.
Yes, which happens to be now. So the future and the present have collided and ripping a hole in the time-space continuum.
Yay, finally. There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
Not after today. Welcome to the program. 651 Smithers is the phone number. 651-764-8437. Follow us on all the social medias at It's Eric Nagel. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube. By the way, update for YouTube. I know all of you listening do subscribe to our show on multiple platforms, but for the people that for some reason want to listen to it on YouTube, one, it's an edited down version just because of YouTube's weird restrictions on certain things. So you're not getting the full show. You're getting most of it, but you're not getting the full show, which is why we always encourage you to subscribe on iHeart or on iTunes, Google Play, things like that. But for those of you who do listen on YouTube, whether you're at work or home or whatever you're doing with it, the entire 2018 catalog of this program is now available on our YouTube channel. There's a playlist. We're going to post it out on our social media, so you can click it, and you've got all the shows from 2018 from start to finish. So that's something to look forward to while you sit at work and do nothing. That's pretty much what we all do at work, right? Right.
I just subscribed.
Happy New Year to everybody. Trevor, what did you do for New Year's?
I once again had all the friends over for a nice New Year's little gathering because I hate going out, as we talked about the last program.
Of the Juggalos?
All the Juggalos. Oh, God, Juggalos. That brings back some crazy, crazy public sex stories. Anyway.
Did you bust a nut in the macaroni or dip your nuts in the soup? Whoop.
I've never once ever listened to Insane Clown Posse, and I think I'm okay with that.
You're missing out.
Yeah, you're totally missing out.
Am I?
Yeah, at least the third through the sixth Joker's cards are pretty good. Anyway.
Okay.
So you had people over for New Year's?
Yeah, it was a little bit. What I've noticed, 'cause last year it was on a weekend, so people couldn't wait, I feel like, to come over and party, where this year everyone was running late from work, and then who ran and ate dinner real quick with their family. So I had all this leftover food, even though I went out and told people I was buying a bunch of food.
Right.
So everyone came 2 hours later than the start time, and then I think they just drank a lot heavier than normal too. So it went from last year where everyone said they were going to stay over, and then no one did, and then this year everyone's like, "No, we're going home." And I had 4 couples stay over, all drunk all over my house, and they didn't fall asleep till about 5:30 in the morning, and then I woke up at 8 to get them from stumbling through my house and get them out, and then start cleaning.
Was it the gin and juice?
No, I think it was
laid back with your mind on your money and your money on your mind.
No, probably not.
If I don't listen to Insane Clown Posse, what makes you think that I'm going to know deep into Snoop Dogg?
The fact that you just said you knew it was deep into Snoop Dogg.
I saw that movie about the Dr. Dre and the Snoop Dogg.
There was a movie. You're talking about Straight Outta Compton?
Yeah, something like that.
That's
I think
NWA.
about the one where Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre opened the car wash.
Oh, word. That was it. Yeah, that's it.
What was that movie called, Gittles?
The Wash. It's great.
It was a remake of the old 70s movie Car Wash.
At the car wash.
But The Wash is great.
Is that one of the hits they played?
No, we're not allowed to play. That's the oldies police. I thought we were supposed to talk about where I work.
Oh, yeah. Should I beep that out? All right.
You probably should.
I'll beep that out. But all in all, you had a good time.
Yeah. I mean, I love the fact that everyone comes over and we don't go out because we've talked about how much I hate going out. But man, cleaning of the house after just sucks. Just spent the whole day cleaning the house. And it's not like they're dirty or messy, but when you have like 20 people trampling through the floors and who spilled something.
Right.
And who's bulimic and threw up everywhere. And we all know it, but they still try to hide it and they hide it poorly. It's sad.
I mean, why even clean it? Just burn it down. Fuck it. Like, cleaning is such a hassle. Like, if you burn it down, the fire department will come out. Your tax money is being used. It's great.
And you pay royalties to Nickelback.
Yeah, and you have insurance.
Right.
Yeah, just do that next time. Just burn your house down. It's much easier.
Do it at midnight so it's festive.
Yeah.
Burning down the house. Hey, that's the thing with New Jersey now.
Is that another song you play, or is that part of the oldies police?
That's the oldies police for the beep. Anyway.
Wait a minute. So Talking Heads is part of the oldies police?
We don't play Talking Heads. It doesn't test well with the audience.
But it's a hit. If you're a New York hit station.
Not according to the music test. No one likes it.
Screw the music test. Your company sucks. I'm just saying that. That's me, not
Thank
Trevor.
you.
That's not Trevor. That is totally me. Anyway, how do you not... Talking Heads is classic and timeless. Moving on. So you had a good time. Gittles, what did you do for New Year's?
So for New Year's, I don't really like to go very far away from my place because it's a shit show everywhere. So a friend of mine went to a friend of their party and I just crashed that. So it was kind of cool. I showed up to a place where I didn't know anybody, and
was it like Eyes Wide Shut?
Well, kind of. Like, everyone was really dressed up, and I was not dressed up. I looked just like this, just without the sunglasses on.
Right.
And I definitely stuck out. You know, I kind of looked like what's his name from BoJack Horseman, Aaron Paul's character. I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either.
So, that's what I looked like the whole time, and I was just like, you know what, fuck these people, and I just sat there and I just ate wings for 3 hours. I was like, I'm just gonna eat all this food, and that's what I did, and it was a good New Year's. And then everyone else got dressed up to look at the clock, and I didn't want to look at the clock, so I just kept eating wings. It was great.
That's the way to do it.
Apparently, you're not the only one though that didn't watch the countdown or anything for New Year's too.
No, because it's.
I didn't even know what happened. We were all just sitting there, and then all of a sudden, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, it's New Year's." I was like, "Oh shit, I guess it is."
Well, the major news networks didn't show it, or the major cable networks. I don't know. Did you?
What do you mean the cable networks didn't show it? CNN was there live in Times Square.
Yeah, CNN, Channel 7 with Ryan Seacrest, and NBC. More ABC than more NBC with Carson Daly and anyone didn't show the ball drop.
Does Dick Clark own the rights to that now too?
Exactly. His corpse was like, no one will ever be able to see the ball again ever. No.
Only my balls will drop from beyond the grave.
Oh God, how do Dick Clark's balls drop in the grave?
Gross.
No, you crush them like those little seed things that shoot spores out into nature.
Oh,
it's like
stop. Oh, stop talking about squeezing Dick Clark's balls, please. Like a spore cloud or some shit. What is this? Palpating the region, Eric?
Should that be the show's episode, Dick Clark's balls?
Yeah, I think happy 2019 Dick Clark's balls.
Dick Clark's balls drops.
Yeah, Dick's balls dropped.
Dick's balls drop.
God, I hope we don't have to pay him now for keep saying his name and his balls over and over again.
That's weird that that they're live in Times Square and they didn't show the ball drop. But did you see the clip that went around about the couple having sex live on ABC next to the reporter?
No.
Yeah,
Where am I Googling? Hold on.
It's totally a visual, but if you look up New Year's Eve couple sex, I guess like that, it's on ABC. There's a video clip where, you know how they have some people out by the barricades and there's a crowd of people behind them and they go and talk to them and stuff like that. Like Jenny McCarthy does it, but then they had some other people.
No way! This is awesome.
So where you're looking at the reporter, her left, your right, as you're watching the screen, you see this couple that like he's grinding up against the girl, and they're all smiling, laughing like they're having a good time, and then she makes a face like this where she goes, ugh, like he hit her too hard, and she pushed back into him, and like you see her neck go up like in ecstasy, and they're fully clothed, but you know what they're doing, and it's not even simulated. You know he has it in her. While this was, yeah, you see that she's waving, she's laughing until he hit her once with a deep thrust, and then she went like that, and that's when everyone knew like they are having sex live on ABC.
Hold on, I gotta look this up. ABC,
ABC New Year's couple sex.
This is amazing.
Show. All right, looking this up.
The best part is not the fact that they're doing it. The best part is that just the guy's face, because he's looking just not at her or the show. He's looking directly at the camera, and he knows what he's doing. And the smile that he has on, and she's trying to like look at the show. Oh wait, the camera's on. Oh wait, there's a dick inside me.
Yep, it's quite fascinating because the only other
right next to him too.
What?
There's like a kid like right next to him too.
Oh, it's just a small Asian person.
It was just that kind of party. Kid had to learn one way or another, so
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Are they? I don't know.
Yeah, they are. They are. Watch her face, because you see her face just kind of like she's all playing for the camera, and then all of a sudden a real moment happened, and she could not contain herself. So that's enjoyable.
No one else next to him see it.
Because they're all going woo, looking at the camera. They're not watching them. And it's down below the barricade, so everything is nice and legal.
Just because behind a big barricade doesn't mean it's legal. Just means you can't see it.
It's not on television, broadcast television, so it's nice and legal.
Well, that's true. What'd you do for New Year's, Eric?
I had a few neighbors over and cooked a bunch of stuff. Didn't do like a big dinner. We did.
Your neighbors, did you?
What?
You didn't cook your neighbors.
My neighborhood is pretty much the burbs.
Oh, cool.
So are you gonna be like Tom Hanks and come over and snoop through my basement?
Does this furnace usually get to 5,000 degrees?
He's out in the backyard digging up stuff in the rain.
Hey, Mr. Rumsfeld.
They're coming back. Warn them. The Burbs is such a good movie, and it's very underrated.
Love The Burbs.
Yeah.
Not all the time. People are like, I've never heard of that movie. I'm like, you've never heard of it? I'm like, just go rent this shit. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's such a good movie. It's Corey Feldman, Tom Hanks. What's the older actor? Damn it!
So far, you said a positive and a negative.
No, the older actor who's all he's like Dale Gribble. He's all army camoed up. He's treating everything like a military. Anyway, somebody out there's yelling at us and screaming the right name. But yeah, definitely check out The Burbs. For me, we cooked a bunch of different food and people brought stuff over. Like we had a huge deli tray, which was amazing, where you make your own sandwiches of brisket and pastrami and corned beef and garlic pickles and spicy mustard and the works. It was delicious. And then a bunch of appetizers constantly being made and served throughout the evening. So you just kind of grazed a little bit rather than have a full sit-down meal.
That's what you should do for New Year's.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last 13 years or so. The what?
It's a grazing holiday.
It is. It's a horrible holiday. We've said it many times on this show. It's the worst. There's no right way to celebrate it. And when you do go out to try to do something to celebrate it, you feel like you're doing the wrong thing. and there might be something better that you should be doing, when really you should just stay home. Like Gittles said, you don't want to go too far from your house. You went to go see some neighbors and some friends that were very close to you. Same thing here. Trevor had some people over who didn't expect to have a huge sleepover, but alas, that's what happened. That's the way you do New Year's, or not at all. If you can just do it by yourself, or if you're married or dating somebody, whatever, and it's just like a couples thing, or just you and your immediate family, that's what you do, because who cares really about midnight and the ball dropping everything? I only watched because this year in New York City, it was pouring rain all day.
Oh my god, dude! It was we were joking the whole time. It was like, look at those suckers in Times Square sitting in the rain all day. They need a fucking duck boat to watch the ball drop. Like this is some bullshit. It was really rainy too.
The only thing that would have been better is, unfortunately, the temperature rose in the tri-state area in New York City, so that it was like in the 50s when it was pouring rain, where I was really hoping it would drop below 30 in the pouring rain. So it was just ice storms and all these dumb schmucks who come from all around the world to be there in the greatest city in the world to watch the ball drop. Yeah, and freeze. Yeah. I wanted the ball drop, and then when they panned the crowd, it looked like the end of The Shining.
Oh, Jesus.
That would have been fun.
Maybe that's why the couple was having sex, to stay warm.
No, it was in the 50s, unfortunately. I wish it was freezing. I love...
No, that was not New York.
Yeah, no, that wasn't. It was like one of the live shots they threw out to LA, I think.
Yeah, that was not New York.
Okay. Well, I didn't say it was New York. I said it was ABC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That was pretty funny.
It was still on live on television, which is always fun. So yeah, that was pretty much New Year's, and then the next day you do nothing. I did absolutely nothing. I cleaned up the night before, and then whatever was left over in the morning, cleaned up, and I sat in the living room on the couch with the big screen TV and the fireplace going, and did nothing. There was nothing to do, nothing I wanted to do, no one I wanted to talk to, nowhere to go. Yep. That's what I did.
Yeah, I just got up and made some coffee, and I just walked around for a bit. I was like, you know what? It's a nice day. No one's doing anything. Everyone slept in, and it was just kind of nice to do nothing.
Yeah.
Walked around, like I said, made some soup. It's just one of those kind of days. A nice, lazy first day of the year.
Oh, yeah. And that's how you should do it, because if you have, like, it sucks to be hungover or, through alcohol or other substances, whatever, right? And run down on that day where you're supposed to be relaxing, because for most people, they're going back to school the next day. They're going back to work the next day. And even though you have that day of recovery, you're still going to feel shitty the morning you got to get up to go to work. So if you don't do much and you just lay around and like, this is my day of tuning out the world and just focus on yourself, it's so much better the next day when you have to go back to work. You're like, oh, I'm glad I did it this way. Otherwise, I'd be miserable and still tired and exhausted.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't even have activities I would do on New Year's Day, because New Year's Day was always just a day of recovery. It was just like, all right, party the night before, ate too much the night before, like just do nothing. It's a do nothing day. Like you sit around, you see what you can find on Netflix, whatever stupid movie they're pushing, and you watch that, and then you get angry, and then you make soup.
Yeah. Well, also what happens on New Year's Day is in certain areas of the country, they had new state and local officials being sworn in. They had the new Congress. No, it wasn't the first day. I think it's Friday. Sorry, as we're taping this and you hear it. So I guess today it would be.
Today, Thursday, they swore in the new Congress.
Oh, it was today? Okay, I thought it was Friday. All right, so you have the new Congress being sworn in. A lot of stuff going on. In New York State, they had their governor, Andrew Cuomo, swear in for his third term. And then a bunch of new laws showed up in New York City that were now on the books. So first thing I want to talk about is Andrew Cuomo being sworn in for this third term. And one of the big things happening in the city was that the L train was going to be shut down. And the L train is a major passageway between Brooklyn and Manhattan. A lot of people use the L train. And it was going to be shut down, I think, fully for all these...
like 3 months to 15 years, like from 15 months to 3 years rather. I mean,
3 months to 15 years, somewhere in there.
The more accurate description of what it would have been. Like, it's like the LIE, it's always under construction.
Right.
But that's what it was originally at. And then today they were just like, oh yeah, we're just not going to shut it down. We figured out a plan, the way they rebuild tunnels in like Europe or something like that. And we can just do limited service on nights and weekends where we'll have one track open where we can commute down, and then they'll be working on the other track, and then they'll reverse it, I guess, when that track is finished, and then block off the other tunnel. So basically nights and weekends are going to kind of suck on it, but it's not going to be shut down. So that's way better of an outcome.
Now, what's concerning is this. So leading up to this, the train was going to be shut down in 2019, which here we are now. People were freaking out about this because, like I said, it was a major commute path to Manhattan from Brooklyn, and a lot of people are like, what are we going to do? Taking other trains or ferry service or whatever was going to be so congested that it was really going to be a problem. And the reason why they were shutting down the L train in New York City was to actually tackle damages and repairs that needed to be done from Hurricane Sandy back in 2012.
Yeah, because the tunnel was completely flooded.
Right.
The whole thing.
So now they're finally getting to all of this. Well, Andrew Cuomo gets sworn in for his third term on New Year's Day. Then the very next day, hey, surprise, guess what? They're not shutting down the L train. Governor Cuomo, issues this statement and new procedure, what they're going to do for this. It's going to be closed nights and weekends to do repairs so that there's minimal inconvenience for stress and the commute to New York City for work. Now, this isn't a political rant. It doesn't matter which side of the coin that you're on. This is just bullshit because he was sitting on this thing waiting for his third term, and then he was going to surprise, look what I did. And as Gittles and I were talking about this before we started, that the timing is really bad on this.
Yeah, I mean, the timing is bad on it. Like, who knows how long he's known that, they can do this. I mean, I don't know how much pressure he got from the real estate people because they've been putting up so many buildings in Williamsburg and Greenpoint without the L train. They would literally be fucked. There's no one who is going to move out here. The rents up until today, rents were plummeting around the neighborhood because the train was going to be shut down. So I don't know what's going to happen now. I don't know if the rents are going to go back up through the roof. I don't know if it's just going to change things.
You know what, Gittles? A wise man once said the rent is too damn high.
Yeah, I met that guy on the street, and he had a puppet of himself, and he said, the rent is too damn high. And I have it on my phone still. I'll send it to you. It's really funny.
Put it up on your Gittle base on Instagram. Put it up there.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that. It was a year ago I ran into him. He was selling puppets himself on the street.
Please do that. People would love to see that. But continue, great. Yes, with Brooklyn.
But, I mean, it's good for business. The place I work at, when we found out that the L train wasn't shut down, we were ecstatic because we have a business 2 doors down from the L train where it would shut off. So this is really good news for us.
Right.
For me personally, it could be very bad news because I don't know what's going to happen now. Like I said, with real estate in the area, now with Long Island City getting the Amazon 2 headquarters, my neighborhood is literally between the L train and Long Island City, and it just got rated most desirable neighborhood to live in Brooklyn because of trying to get people there from the Amazon thing. So I'm just hoping that where I live in the boondocks, almost under the bridge, will not get major rent hikes or will get priced out. But it's a good and bad. It's good for commuters. It's good for local businesses. I think it's going to be very bad in a way for people who live here,
for local residents. Yeah,
maybe get a break on rent for a little bit while the trains were down. So it's gonna be very interesting. I don't know. I don't think it's. I don't know. We'll see.
I saw some people already jump ship from Brooklyn because they couldn't put their kids on the L and they had no way of them to get to school, so they already had to move out of the neighborhood and move to Manhattan and pay a bunch more money, and now they're just furious.
I wonder if they can, if it's proven that this was a publicity stunt, if they could sue.
No, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, who knows? I mean, like Cuomo did his tour of the tunnel thing like a month ago, which was well after the election. So who knows when he got the word that this was going to be a viable option? You know what I mean? Like, we don't know.
Hey, can't we just put some zip ties over there? Then we can still use the train. Oh yeah, Governor, that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, but here's the thing: like, it better fucking work, because if there's any major accident because of it, like, he's gonna be in serious fucking shit. You know what I mean? Like, if they don't fix that tunnel right because of this, like, there's gonna be hell to pay. So,
oh yeah, people are already.
There is a downside to it, so it better fucking work.
In New York City, you know, one of the most popular cities in the world, and we have one of the shittiest metro systems for a city, because one, it's the oldest.
It's really not that bad for like the little problems we have for a city of this size with how many people we have. It's really not that bad. I mean, I take it every day.
Okay,
usually.
But I mean, it's the oldest, and they're always just putting Band-Aids on things. They're never doing full-on repairs. And then when stuff backs up, and then in the middle of a work week, when all of a sudden it's like, hey, we got to shut down these lines, and there's just mass hysteria and crowds everywhere, they're all like, how could this happen? Whatever. It's like because they keep putting Band-Aids on things instead of taking the proper time to fix these things.
Yeah, because the thing is, there's no way to make the proper time, because the city is so congested that the people can't go above ground, because then they can't get taxis because the roads are blocked off, because the mayor made it so, like,
half the it was Bloomberg
who like made it so that like half the streets are now walkways and shit.
And
so
they're city parks. They're public parks in the middle of Broadway. And what's that park that's next to Macy's?
Oh, Madison Square Park?
No, well, there's that one, and then what was it, Harlem Square? I'm trying to remember.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like most of 6th Avenue was blocked off to have, you know, little tables and chairs out there so people could eat lunch, you know, outdoors. But meanwhile, a major artery of traffic through Manhattan is completely blocked because you need to have a cement park.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's why they have to kind of do these like Band-Aid fixes and hope it like works until they can figure out a better solution to bus people around. You know what I mean? It's just a logistics thing. Like, we don't have time to, you know, cure a terminal illness. We have to be like, here's another shot to keep you going another 6 months. Right. And then another 6 months comes. It's like, well, we got this new shot. This will keep you going for another 6 months. You know, we're just like, you know, we're playing Weekend at Bernie's here.
And it really just turned out to be a B12 supplement.
Yeah, it did. B12. It was horny goat weed.
Pinnacle horny goat weed.
Yeah.
But so all that's going on. So it was just, like you said, poor timing for this dumb publicity stunt. And if it doesn't go well, he's in a lot of trouble. Also, some weird laws were put on the books for New York City. One being that the ongoing fight to eliminate smoking from everybody's life, and especially in the city of New York, got another blow where they had to rule that if your business has a pharmacy, that they were not allowed to sell cigarettes, one, at the pharmacy, or two, a business that housed a pharmacy. So CVS and Walgreens and Duane Reade, stores like that, can't sell cigarettes anymore. And also supermarkets that have pharmacies in there can no longer sell cigarettes.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with it. Like, just go to the fucking smoke shop and get it. Like, I don't, you know, it doesn't make sense to like buy them at a pharmacy. You know,
I think because they were cheaper, because a pack of cigarettes, like what, $18 or something in Manhattan, some ridiculous price, and then they would go to these corporate stores or the bigger chain stores because they would be cheaper than going to the bodegas and the smoke shops to buy them. And now you just eliminated the cheaper areas to buy them, so it does force their hand, unless they're going to drive out to the Indian casinos and stock up every month.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think it was that much cheaper at like the Rite Aid and stuff, to be honest. Like, you can get different prices depending where you go. Like, I buy rolling tobacco sometimes, and I go to the bodega where the guy calls me Poppy, and he thinks he knows me, and he gives me a good deal on everything. So that's where I go to get my shit. He's like, how are you doing, Poppy? I'm like, I'm doing good, man. You got tobacco for $5? He's like, I do. I'm like, thank you. And then I leave.
I love how you purchasing a legal cigarette equivalents like a dope deal.
Well, you know why? Because rolling tobacco is like, it's pretty cheap. It's like $5-6 a pouch. It's really not that expensive. But where I live over here, a lot of the people have been coming in and buying the stores out. So what they've been doing to prevent that is they've been raising the price on all their rolling tobacco to $15.
Right.
So like if you go into one of these bodegas and they don't know you as like a regular, they'll charge you $15 for a pack of rolling tobacco. But if they like know you or think they know you, and you can be like, hey, what's up, man? They'll give you the bodega hookup. It's a very good thing in New York City to know your bodega man. Like
Hello.
It will help you out in so many ways.
Hello, I would like to buy some illegal fireworks, please. I do not know what you're talking about. Follow me.
Exactly what it's like.
So, I mean, for those who are still smoking, that's just another, crushing blow to people. But then, they're trying to do the same thing with vape. I think even past New York City, I think New York State is trying to suppress a lot of the sales, and I know the federal government's looking at some of this stuff having to be regulated as well. So every time, like, smoking was almost completely eliminated, and then somebody figured out how to get kids and people right back into it just using a different method. So vape showed up and just reestablished the entire smoking industry.
I mean, people vape everywhere. I see those fucking what's it called, Juul pods, like everywhere on the sidewalks. Like they are worse than seeing cigarette buds, because I'm like, is there a computer that's just like falling apart, or like a robot that needs help around here? And it's just like these pods everywhere. Nope, it's just cyber kids and their newfangled smoking devices.
So is it really what they say that, doing the vape is like smoking 20 cigarettes at once?
What? I have no idea. I hear like every different thing under the sun about vapes. Who like, oh, it's healthier for you. Oh, it's terrible for you. Oh, it'll like make your retinas detach and this blah blah blah. I hear like crazy shit about it, but like nobody knows anything about it.
Well, because some people when they talk about vaping, like, oh, look, it's clean, I don't smell like tobacco smoke, and they come in fun flavors and what have you, which is, as soon as it came in good flavors, that was the first thing that was starting to piss off the federal government, because they're like, oh, nope, it tastes good, the kids are going to want bubble gum and blue raspberry and chocolate mint flavors, all that stuff. We got to eliminate this, or we got to regulate it, or we got to do something about it.
RMG's going to regulate.
He will. On 2-1 in Lewis, he got all his friends and said, let's do this.
Yeah.
So with the vapes, people saying it's clean, it's better than cigarettes and what have you. But then you see the truth.com ads on TV or on the internet. If you watch the YouTube, the pre-rolls, if you can't skip it, the truth.com ads say that smoking, a thing of vape is the equivalent of smoking 20 cigarettes. It's actually more nicotine than a regular cigarette is.
I've been vaping, but it's safer than smoking.
One Juul pod contains as much nicotine as 20 cigarettes. 20 cigarettes.
Huh.
Isn't the Truth People, though, like sponsored by Philip Morris?
They're not sponsored. They're funded. No, they're funded by not just Philip Morris. Philip Morris and whatever what is it, R.J. Reynolds or no, that's the rap people.
Yes, of course they're going to tell you vaping is bad. They want kids to smoke cigarettes.
No. No. If you look back at the Truth.com's origin, they exist because of the funding that the federal government, when they sued the tobacco industry and forced them to pay, they had to give up money. So they're not it's not like currently in their pocket, like they're a subsidiary of one of the tobacco companies. The funding for it that comes from the government was money that was obtained from the tobacco industry to fund these things. Like Truth.com is a nonprofit organization that's funded by money that was handed over from the tobacco industries.
Yeah, I don't know enough about like vaping and like the health effects to make a decision one way or the other. Like if someone says equal to smoking 15 packs, like to me right off the bat, that's just a wrong statistic. Like if you smoke 15 packs at once, like you're going to die from nicotine overdose. You know what I mean? Right. So like anytime I hear something that's like a really exaggerated statistic like that, I get extraordinarily skeptical, because that's a mountain of evidence. Like that's an extraordinary claim. You need extraordinary evidence to prove that true. If they said every time you vape it's equal to smoking 2 cigarettes or 3 cigarettes, then yeah, maybe I would be like, okay, well that might be true. I don't know, but like saying like 15 packs or something like that's just, it's too absurd of a claim for me to not think it's just fear mongering right off the bat.
Well, well, it has to have some sort of truth, unless they're going to get sued by this, because that's what's running in their TV ads and the online ads.
But well, I don't know. I don't know the truth on that. I don't know if they can get sued.
Well, they are truth.com, so it has to be true.
I don't know if anyone's like fact checking that stuff. I don't know if anyone's questioning it. People who don't want people smoking are probably gonna be like, "Yeah, look at it, it's bad," and not question it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's at the end of the day that justifies their means. So they're not going to be like, "Oh yeah, well, let's just let's investigate this claim." Let's like, no, that's a great claim. Let's make it even crazier. Make people not smoke.
Let me tell you about the dangerous effects of Play-Doh. What?
Yeah, exactly. I know this guy. He smoked once and then he died 90 years later.
Do you know how much finely crushed glass is in a can of Play-Doh? What?
Well, not enough.
How do you prove that? Nope, we're truth.com.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying they're lying. I'm just saying like those are like really crazy claims, and like someone's making a claim like that, I'm immediately skeptical. So.
One of the other laws that was passed that got a lot of national attention was, and this is only New York City, not, as far as I know, New York State, was the new regulation as far as birth certificates go. Because now a parent has a right when a child is born, if they don't want to list male or female as their gender, they can list X as a legal supplement when you have to fill the gender portion of the certificate here. Now, the thing that puzzles me is that when people saying that they were fighting for this right because, they may have been born a certain sex, but they don't identify with the gender, that's fine. But does that mean that you can go back and change your birth certificate as an adult, or is it saying that your parents have the right to list that on your birth certificate? Because what newborn knows what gender it associates with?
I don't know. I mean, I read some things online today that were talking about it just more in like a discrimination kind of way, where it has nothing to do with like sexual preference stuff, but it's more just like they just don't want discrimination on their kid based on their gender. Like my ex, like her parents named her Tracy, but they spelled it the male way of spelling Tracy, just
Tracy.
Yeah, because they didn't want people to know right off the bat that she was a woman and discriminate against her. You know what I mean? So maybe in a weird way, it's something like that. I don't really know.
I got to be honest. One thing, I never thought Tracy was a male name. Like a last name like Spencer Tracy, that was an actor name. That wasn't even his real last name. But Tracy is how I've always known a girl's name. Some do Traci, but Tracey, like with an umlaut.
Tracy's.
But the way Tracy's, I never associated Tracy with being a male name ever.
Dick Tracy.
Yeah. But it is. But if you spell it C-E-Y at the end, that's like usually like always female. So like they spelled that way as a way of like not having like a discrimination.
Really? I would have thought C-Y or C-I is the way females spell it. E-Y does not seem like a typical. I mean, that's just me. I'm not saying that it isn't, but for me, I've never recognized that.
That's what she told me. So I don't know. Like that was her story, what she told me about that. So I don't know if it's something like that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to prevent sponsored ads. Be like, oh, so we hear you had a boy/girl. Like, I don't want to tell you what I had. Well, like, I don't.
I think everyone has noticed, at least in the last couple of years, that if you go to apply for a job, more times than not, you have to go through a corporate website or their careers page in order to apply for a job. And when you fill out everything, because you got to fill out, all your legal information and, military or veteran status, disability kind of thing. But when you get to your gender stuff, you have the option now of saying, I don't know if it's listed as unknown or other or do not want to answer. Like those are now options in everyday life now, where if you got to list male, female, or same thing with religion too. If they ask you to specify, even race does have it too, where you can go, Caucasian, Asian, African American, all down the list of everything, and then you can say choose not to reply.
I'm gonna tell you that, Eric. Anytime I have that option where I could say I don't want to tell you, I say I don't want to tell you. Like if it says gender and like it has like do not specify, I will click do not specify. I'm just like that kind of person. I'm like I don't want you to know anything about me.
That could be why you're not working as much.
Shut up.
Well, remember the one time you listed Smurf and they never called you back for a second interview?
Yeah, it was really blue.
I love setting him up. He always knocks it out of the park. Yeah, so I just like, if you're older and it doesn't really matter to me, but if you're older and this really means something to you and you want to switch your gender on your birth certificate, like, I think it's kind of dumb, but fine, who cares? It's not hurting anybody. The thing that's weird to me is that if the parents have a right for when their child is born and you list it as neutral, that's just like, you don't know, and you're already setting the kid down a predetermined path.
No, maybe. I mean, who knows? I don't really know. It's too new of a thing, you know. I don't really. It doesn't really affect me right now because I'm not having a kid. So, like,
but you're not going back and changing your birth certificate, and
well, no, I am. I am now a reptile.
Nice lizard people.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. I mean, I'm not gonna go back. I don't even, dude. To be perfectly honest with you, I have no idea where my birth certificate is. Like, it's probably in storage unit somewhere. So to even find it, like, that's too much energy you're asking me to use, and then have to like, write in a new form and then check a new box and mail. I would rather just stay me. I'm fine with that.
All right.
It's a lot of work, Eric. You're making me work.
Speaking of lizard people, Louis C.K. back in the news.
Lizard people.
Yes. And if you don't know how that transition ties together, look up Louis C.K. Donald Rumsfeld on YouTube, and you'll find the time that we had Louis on the show, and he spoke to Donald Rumsfeld on the phone, and it was him. He was calling in, promoting his book, and Louis just continued to ask him to admit that he's really a lizard person and that the lizard people run the government.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
It was.
He's
pretty
like,
funny.
you're a lizard person, and he wouldn't deny it.
And there's an animated version too. Somebody actually animated the audio, which is fun because you see Donald Rumsfeld's official portrait, like government picture, and then it's sort of like the Haunted Mansion. You know, when you're in the room and the thing's moving and the photo changes as it's going down, you just see his skin turning green and his eyes turn yellow.
Oh God, it's funny.
It's pretty funny. But anyway, Louis C.K. back in the news because he was doing a set out at Governor's, which is a comedy club out in Levittown, Long Island, and somebody happened to just turn on their phone and tape the entire set and post it on YouTube. And the person, I'm jumping ahead and back and forth a little bit, but the person now who put the audio on YouTube, he was saying, it's like, oh, I didn't expect it to get all this, attention, and like he's really backpedaling, but he's just a piece of shit because he was taking material that wasn't fully developed, and he was, working it out, putting it online just so he could get attention by saying, oh, look what Louis did, and get Louis in trouble or cause a whole bunch of more drama, which it did. It wound up doing that. So the guy put out this set on that Louis was doing. Again, like, it wasn't a special. It wasn't polished or finished material. That was cherry picked, like they do, by social media and Reddit to invoke outrage about things Louis was saying and doing, and because they made such a big stink out of it, then the news came on top. It wasn't like the news found out about it and said, we got to make this a story. It was because they were getting so much stuff flooding in from social media that every network now all of a sudden had to cover it. What Louis had in there was one particular portion of the set where he was commenting about the kids from the high school down in Florida that got shot up.
Yeah.
And they're like, this was a horrible joke, and this was a horrible sense of humor. It's like, it wasn't really a joke, because if you listen to it, I'm not defending him.
It definitely was not a joke.
It wasn't a joke. It was more of a annoyed rant. And he was still developing into whatever it needed. He had in his head or he was trying to work it to be, wasn't there yet, right? And that raw, unpolished material was the stuff that got out there, and everyone's shitting all over Louis now because of this stuff. And some of the parents of children that were shot down there were going after Louis on social media. Like, it was a whole to-do, if you will. So there was that, and then there was one other portion. Do you remember what the other part of the audio was? There was the school shooting. There was something else.
He was making fun of Asian guys, and then he was making fun of like gender pronoun stuff.
That's what it was. It wasn't the Asian. It was the gender pronoun stuff. And like, people just went apeshit over it, and they're mad that he wasn't completely destroyed during the Me Too accusations. That he's mad that he's actually been going back on stage to do stand-up comedy, and that clubs are letting him do this.
I think people are mad because he said he was going to take a year off and like think about what he did and come out with like a sincere apology or like do something, and he hasn't done any of that. Like
he did say.
He hasn't sat back and reflected. He's never come out and like really like most comedians, if they got caught in that situation, would do a bit about themselves, like punching themselves down, being like, this is how I fucked up. You know what I mean? Like Chris Rock did on his new special. He talks about how he fucked up with his wife and how he was in the doghouse and shit.
Right.
Like people do that. He never did that. He never addresses the elephant in the room.
No.
And I think that's what's really annoying to people, that he just keeps going out there and he's like, yeah, I did it and I took a year off and fuck it. I'm just going to keep doing what I want to do. And that's what I'm going to do. And I don't really care. And I think that's what it is.
Well, let's dissect that a little bit, because his apology was pretty much a year ago, a little over a year ago now as we're talking about it, but from when he started to show up at the Comedy Cellar again was a year. He did take the time off. In his apologies, he admitted that the stories were true about him, and he said, I've done a lot of, this has hurt people's careers, and it was a gross misuse of his authority or power, that he was going to take time to sit back and listen, right?
Yeah.
He didn't say he was going to take time off to make an apology. I'm just saying it's important in the wording there. So he's going to take the time to sit back it's his time to listen, to hear everything. And he took the time off. You never saw him anywhere unless TMZ happened to catch him walking a block in Manhattan. But it was very rare that you saw him anywhere. He's not on social media. He wasn't performing anywhere. And then he came back, and Louis does what Louis wants to do. And he came back. He's like, I took the time. He did everything he said he was going to do. He never said he was going to apologize other than that first apology, and then came back. I'm not defending him. I'm just explaining. Yeah. So he does come back, and then he goes amongst his business. Now, should he have should he have addressed some of this? Yeah, I think he should have. He didn't. And then he doubled down to say like he's not going to. He's just going to move forward. And that's his prerogative. He can do, it's up to people not to go out to see his shows and see his performances to, in order to determine how successful he's going to be. But people are going out to see him in droves. Like every time he does something, he only does limited spots, but they sell out. And you heard that audio, people were laughing hysterically.
That's the thing though, and that's what I still don't get. They were laughing hysterically, and he wasn't telling a joke. Like he was literally like, "Fuck these kids! Why are they on TV?" And people are like, "Yeah, you tell them." Like it wasn't a joke, and I don't understand that. And that's what I'm trying to get over, the fact that like it's either one, people are trying to defend him by saying he was working out material and it wasn't polished. And then two is people saying that joke was perfect. It doesn't need to be finished. That was the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I'm trying to figure out where it falls between, because I didn't hear a joke in there. I just heard.
Yeah, I didn't hear it either.
Guy complaining that he has to see kids on TV who were victims of a school shooting. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of fucked up. Like, every time there's a shooting, I have to watch some guy from the NRA go on TV and say guns aren't the problem, while saying, we need more church in school and we need to arm teachers. Like, why do I have to sit through that? Can I say that and that's a joke? No, people just call me an angry liberal. You know what I mean? So, like... Okay,
but to analyze that a little bit, one, he's not saying it was a joke. Louis never said this is a joke. He's never even addressed this or defending this or whatever.
Yeah.
People who were passing the audio around were saying, these are jokes. Really, what it was a rant. All right? It was just him being, a crotchety old man, and that's what it was. It was an old man rant. And an angry rant kind of disguised as trying to be lighthearted about it, because that's just what Louis does. And he wasn't doing anything out of character. Whether it's right or wrong is not the point I'm making. It wasn't out of character. He's doing what he does and what he's always done. And it got to that point where he's now doubling down even harder. You got to remember, too, because of all this shit. And in the beginning of the audio, he talks about how he lost $35 million in a day and all of this stuff. He's at the bottom of the barrel. I'm sorry, not the bottom of the barrel. He's at rock bottom, right? He's got nothing but his stand-up. There's nothing else for him, and he's okay with that. At least that's how he's presenting it. I don't know internally. He may not be happy with it, but at least he's presenting that he's like, I'm at the bottom here, and I'm just going to deal with it the only way I know how to, or handle it the way I want to. And that's what he's doing. He's not giving a fuck about anybody else. He's doing what he wants to do, because there's not much more anything that can happen to him here at this point. And that... can be a very freeing thing, and can also be a very dangerous thing, because when you've got nothing left to lose and you've got nothing else, you can go and start, I hate this. I don't want to say taking shots, but you can go in and start attacking and addressing things that you normally wouldn't have, because what are you going to do to him? And it's just going to get him more attention.
But he has nothing left to lose because he didn't do anything to repair his image. Like, he didn't do anything to go to the front line. He didn't, like I said, he didn't make any jokes about himself. As a comedian, like, that's the first thing you do is you joke about yourself. Like, you put yourself down. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't do any of that.
Well, he did a little bit, but it wasn't enough to appease people, is what I think you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like, it just, I don't get it. Like, he's at the bottom of the barrel by his own doing. And you know, he's not like there's so many things he could be doing to like try and get out of there, and like, you know, trying to make amends with communities that, like, you know, that people, because here's the thing, people are really upset at Louis CK because when he did his whole act, he was this, like, you know, pro-feminist liberal guy. He was saying the things that, like, he knew, you know, was right. Like, you know, he said, like, men are like a danger to women. He was like really popular with women, and like he really, like, you know, when everything came out, it was very betraying to them. And I think, you know, he hasn't done enough to like show that he's not just like, you know, a kind of a scumbag, you know. And I think if he did some more, maybe, you know, he can get out of that situation. But, you know, to say he's at rock bottom by no fault of his own or anything like that is like kind of crazy. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying by no fault of his own. I'm saying that nobody's going to do anything for him. Nobody wants him, you know, as far as work-wise goes, TV, movies, all those things. Or if there may be companies that do want him, but no, because of the climate of everything, it's like, we can't touch him right now.
Well, because like I said, but you think if he was doing an outward public campaign and be like, you know what, I'm gonna try and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna volunteer, I'm gonna donate money to like women, I'm gonna do something, you know what I mean? Like, if he tried, there would be some sort of eventual, like, you know, redemption where he could build himself back. But he's not trying that, dude. He's just not.
No.
And like, I'm a huge Louis fan. Like, I loved all of his stand-up bits. I will still go back and listen to him because they are still funny jokes. Like, I can't deny it. Like, I could still go back and listen to some Dane Cook jokes even though I don't like them because they're still funny jokes.
Right.
But like, I can, you know, be critical of like what he's doing and his moves, and it's just kind of sad to watch someone who like you really respected and like who you thought was smart enough to figure out how to get himself out of this problem just keep digging, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of dejecting in a way. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, this is what you're doing? Like, you're just gonna just go on these rants and stuff, like, and they were like lazy jokes too. Like, you understand about that joke about, oh, kids these days, like, you know, they don't do like crazy drugs, they're like studying or whatever he was like talking about, and it was lazy, dude. Kids are doing so many fucking drugs. Like, that's just like not doing legwork. Like, I don't know. It just felt like a ripoff of a Doug Stanhope joke, to be honest.
I mean, it could be lazy jokes. It could be just him, you know, kind of, you know, just lightly coming back into his own as far as building up his comedy, you know, act and repertoire again. It could be just that was on his mind. You know, it could be, again, unpolished, unworked material that he's trying to work on. It's, you know, it's not good to leak a comic stuff in smaller clubs because chances are that's not their main act, and that's not, you know, it's always stuff that they're working on to get to the higher levels, to put their special out, to put their DVDs out and what have you. And it's kind of shitty to do that because then you're defeating the purpose of people coming out to see these people work through everything. That being said, he probably feels like he's like, well, even if I try to apologize or I try to do everything, he's like, I'm just going to get attacked. It's not going to do. I'm just saying this could be what's in his head, that it's not going to do me any good. It's not going to change anything. So you know what? I'm going to go even harder and try to push through and see where it lands. That could be what he's thinking. That could be his game plan.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
And what you said, too, is a bit unfortunate because compared to a lot of the other, you know, sexual claims against other celebrities and political leaders and things like that, in the whole scale, not saying it was it was good, but in the whole scale of everything, his wasn't as bad as the other ones that have come to light. And his probably would have been easier to fix because he put people in bad situations, but he didn't physically assault, like grab them or whatever, or force himself on them like that. There probably was a way to kind of walk it back and do, like you said, do charitable work, do things that were helping women in comedy and in the entertainment industry try to progress and things like that. His looked fixable. You know, where a lot of the other ones were really so far gone. It's like that. There's no way you can do anything about it.
But it's still like fucked up though. I mean, when you say like it's not the same as them, like these are people who are like charged with like multiple rapes. You know what I mean? So to say it's not as bad as that, like.
It's true. Like what he did was, and he still claims.
But here's the thing though, like he held. Like he like affected people's careers though. You know what I mean? Like people are saying like, you know, he would hold them back because of this.
That's different though. That's a different claim. That's not sexual assault. That's just, you know, that's misusing of power.
I thought it was because of the sexual assault stuff.
Well, the sexual assault stuff was that he was jerking off in front of women, other comedians there. Sarah Silverman said, you know, she gave him full consent, and Louis said, you know, with the other ones at the time was full consent. Now it was a problem. They merged the two, where that was one situation, then him blackballing people who, for whatever reason, in the industry is a different charge than sexual assault and all that. It's just they're not hand in hand. They happen to be for this one person, but they're two different issues. Comparing him as far as like a Harvey Weinstein, a Kevin Spacey, Bill Cosby, things like that. Yeah, it is the lesser of all these evils here, but his did seem to be manageable and more and fixable. Like you said, he could have done a lot more to change people on this and repent, if you will. And he's deciding to go the other way.
The key word there though is evil.
Yeah, like it's still like really fucked up, like what he did. You know, like I mean.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't fucked up. I'm just saying it's not what the other guys did.
Someone and drugging someone, yes, but it's still like extraordinarily fucked up. And like I said, there's things he probably could have done, and you know, to fix it. But I don't know. And like when you said about like the leaked recording stuff, but like. To play devil's advocate here, like if there was leaked audio of Kathy Griffin doing a set mocking the Vegas shooting survivors and then blaming the NRA and politicians, you don't think this would be on every right-wing news station 24/7 until like they shot her into the fucking sun? Like, dude, come on. Like it's I don't understand like why everyone says it's like an attack on comedy when people are criticizing Louis C.K., but like people will consistently criticize other comedians for what they do. Like Pete Davidson criticized that guy running for office with his eye patch. They made him go on Saturday Night Live and apologize to him while getting roasted by him. Michelle Wolf roasted, someone at the White House press correspondent, and it was like 24 News 7 for like weeks on like, you know, the conservative news sites. So it's like there is a limit to jokes apparently that people have, you know. So it's like people say like, oh, you can't judge Louis' jokes because it's comedy, but people are judging people's jokes. So, like, why does he get to skip that judgment, but other people get to be judged?
Well, that's as you and I were talking earlier in the week. This is where it comes down to hypocrisy, because I totally slurred that word, hypocrisy. That the Michelle Wolf thing. All right, she went and did the the press corps dinner. The what?
White House Correspondents' Dinner, where it's like literally the point of it is to like make jokes about everyone.
You roast the administration in power and what have you.
It happened through the entire history of the country.
Right. But I'm just pointing out something that's a little different. All right. So Michelle Wolf goes up there and she does her act. Now, was it... I'm not talking about politicians. I'm talking about the public. Was it received as well as Stephen Colbert, as John Oliver, as Conan O'Brien acts in the past? No, it wasn't. Right, but that doesn't mean it was horrible and she should never have made those jokes. It's just it wasn't received as well, or maybe they weren't as funny. What the problem is with that is because Trump can't take any kind of criticism against him or being mocked, where he got upset during the Obama one. Which is infamous now, where he made a Trump joke and you could see he wasn't having it, and he kept bringing that up when he was running for office and kept making that a focal point of this is when he turned and this is where his origin story was hitting. Now he's in a power where he can control this stuff. He didn't go to the dinner and he's just like, nope, not doing it, not being a part of it, whatever. She did it. Now they're not, now they're not even having comics come to the thing while he's still in the administration?
Yeah, but I'm not even talking about that level. What I'm talking about is people I've literally seen on Twitter who have said you can't condemn Louis for his jokes, who legitimately condemned her and said she shouldn't be a comedian and that her jokes were off limits. And that's where I'm saying the hypocrisy is. Not like
Louis said that about Michelle Wolf?
not Louis, what other comedians are saying online to defend Louis, saying like you can't judge him. He's a comedian, and jokes should be without judgment. If you don't get it, you just don't get jokes. You know what I mean? Those same people condemned her for her jokes, and that's where I'm saying the hypocrisy lies.
Yeah, it does. And as far as the comics go, that whole thing about it should be sacred to that comics should be able to say and do whatever they want in their sets and on their specials and what have you. But that seems to also be an older school of thought with comedy, because these younger level of comedians come on there and they just are constantly attacking their own industry now.
Yeah, I haven't seen any new younger comedians. To be honest, they just like read news off their phone.
Yeah, I've seen some of the stuff on Netflix, and it's not just a generational thing, because I like a bunch of different comics. Doesn't matter who they are, and I watch some of these specials, and I'm like, I'm not getting it. I just don't get what's funny with this, and I'm like, is it a generational thing? And I try to analyze it and I go, it is, but it's not generational humor about stuff from their generation. It's just a mindset. A lot of these Netflix specials where I'm watching it, and they're like, they just want to, it's like the other side of the coin. It's more rant stories rather than jokes and bizarre scenarios and things like comics do. It's all, social outrage and politically motivated. And not that comedy is never like that, but it just seems to be like they forget the silliness. They forget the joke part. They forget the exaggeration, because it becomes like they'll make a statement and then they wait for the applause, like everybody in the room is all on the same side. And I'm like, that's not really what comedy is supposed to be. It's supposed to be taking shots at everything.
Yeah, but like I'm fairly certain like comedy was like originated in like ancient Greece as like a form of like making fun of politics, like for the most part. You know what I mean? Like if you look up the history of comedy, it was just like it was made fun of. It was there to make fun of the people in power.
No, I get that, but it doesn't seem like they focus more on that now than they do on everyday life stuff or things that happened that was unique to their lives growing up or their family and things like that. It just seems it's more. Well, it's easy to shit all over Trump and the Republicans and everything. So that's what we have to do because this is the industry that we're in, rather than, all right, here's a little bit of that, and now here's stuff about me, and here's some material that I worked out that's pretty unique. It all seems to be blending together.
Oh, dude, you know me, like I hate Trump, but like the second I'm at something and someone on stage is like, yeah, fuck Trump, like I just fucking eye roll, dude. I can't take it anymore. I'm like, dude, we get it. Like we're 2 years into this shit. Like what are you gonna get at it? Like saying this on stage right now? Like
it's lazy writing. It's the other side of lazy writing.
Let's just enjoy the show. Like, play your fucking music, dude. Like, you don't gotta say fuck Trump. We all know it. Like, we're all here. You're playing in New York. Like, it's so cliche.
Yeah, but that's also cliche in itself of bands doing political messages during concerts and shows where, look, everybody in that crowd may agree with you about your leanings, but you know what? Even they don't want to hear that shit. They paid this money to see your set. Play the songs.
Oh yeah, unless you're like going to see Rage Against the Machine or Bad Religion or something like that, or System of a Down,
or it's a big concert for a charity, then don't do it.
Exactly, so like I'm at that point too. I just can't anymore. I just eye roll. I'm like, oh, just leave it alone for like 5 minutes. I just want to escape this shit.
Yeah, it's just like,
that's why I'm here. For the love of God,
I'm tired of both of it. When somebody's wearing the Trump shirt and the Trump hat, it's obviously to be noticed, right? Exactly. And it's the people who are wearing the fuck Trump or the shirts and stuff that have like horrific drawings of the president. You're doing the same thing on the other side to be noticed. You're not really making a difference or supporting anything. It's like everybody is sick of both both sides. Everyone is sick of both sides that are so extreme on the ends. It's like it's gonna start coming back. Like whether it's him continuing through 2020's election or somebody else coming in at that point, it's gonna start moving back into the middle here because people, like Gittles said, are getting burnt out on every side.
Yeah, man, just play Wonderwall so we can all sing along.
Oh, God damn it. That doesn't happen.
Dude, it does. I sent you the video of my old roommate doing it.
It doesn't happen.
It was bad.
On almost a daily basis.
No.
They did it on New Year's, too. I heard. I saw the video. He posted it again. And I didn't take it this time. Like, Wonderwall is a thing.
It's not a thing. Stop making it a thing.
Wonderwall is a thing.
Post it up on the Gittle base on the Instagram, or send it over to me. I'll put it up on It's Eric Nagel's Instagram.
I know that I videotaped them, so I can't do that.
The what?
I said I can't post that on my Instagram because my roommate follows me, and he'll know that I took a picture of him playing horribly.
All right, send it to me. I'll post it on the show page.
I can't do that either because he follows you.
Oh, God damn it. Well, I mean, that's a good thing. Tell 2 friends, sir, if you're listening.
Post it from Podcast Dummies. He doesn't follow that.
We're not allowed to mention that anymore.
Yeah. Post it on that. Nobody follows that. That's fine. That's safe. That's a safe
Send it
space.
Rodcast Mummies. Yes, that's it.
Anywho, let's take a break and reset. When we come back, talk about more fun things. There was some movies that launched on Netflix during the holidays that we want to talk about. Some TV show news. Marvel Punisher news was very exciting. All the fun stuff coming up in segment 2. We will be right back.
It's Eric Nagel with Eric and Gittles. More next. It's Eric Nagel. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, and Facebook at It's Eric Nagel.
Hi, this is Neil deGrasse Tyson, your personal astrophysicist, and you're listening to It's Eric Nagel.
Are we live?
We're waiting for Trevor to come back because he's having explosive diarrhea. Oh, Trevor's back. Okay. Welcome back to It's Eric Nagel. That is me. Over in the upside down is Gittles. Over on the right side is Trevor.
I ordered a new solar system. It's coming in this week. I'm very excited.
What? How do you order a solar system?
I got a pop-up ad that said, would you like to buy a new solar system? I said, fuck yeah. So I ordered a solar system. It's got 8 stars, 3 moons, a couple of constellations.
Green clovers, blue diamonds, and purple horseshoes. Even red balloons.
The sun should be power enough to sustain life on 4 of the planets, but I don't know. We'll see. You never know. When you order shit off the internet, like sometimes you get like screwed up.
See, that's the thing. You probably got the basic kit. You have to upgrade to the stronger sun.
Yeah,
you got to go from the red sun to the yellow sun in order to power up the rest of the planets.
Yeah, like my budget, I could really only afford a brown dwarf, but like the sale was pretty good. So like I figured I could finance it for like 3.5 billion years, and I'll be good.
There you
go. It's not gonna be that bad.
I wonder how long it takes to assemble your solar system.
Well, it depends if it has the Allen key or not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's like IKEA furniture.
The giant box.
Right.
Yeah. Is it metric or do you have the other one? You always got to find the right key.
Horrible. Trying to put together dude, have you ever put together a gas planet? Dude, it goes everywhere. It's fucking a mess.
It's hard to contain.
Yeah, you're like, oh, just put this here, and then boof, gas gone. Your dog's dead. Ugh, like it was toxic gas. I didn't know.
You're gently pulling out the styrofoam, and you go, God damn it, one of the rings are broken.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you accidentally created a new Everest on this planet because you sneezed. Like, what happened?
You have like a lopsided. It looks like Uranus. It's all lopsided with the rings out of orbit. It's got tape around it because it broke.
And that customer service line you have to call does not pick up, and you're on hold forever.
Yeah, God really tests your patience.
Here this week. I feel like if with my own solar system, our dream of getting a whale to the moon is going to be a lot easier.
That is so true, because then we don't need
to for like tens of dollars. Like it's going to be great.
We just can buy a whale and then dump it on the moon.
You just dump it there because I'm going to own the solar system.
Right. We don't need any of these rockets.
We don't need NASA permission. We don't got to like steal one. We still got to steal one.
Take that, like, Elon Musk and SpaceX.
Yeah. Get your dead hookers out of your car trunk that you got circling around the Earth.
I think it went into the sun, didn't it?
Yeah.
Looking at the box office for over the holiday season, Aquaman #1 to nobody's surprise. #2, Mary Poppins Returns. #3, Bumblebee. 4, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And 5, The Mule. None of the top 5 did any of us go see, I don't think, right?
Nope. I haven't been to the movie in months.
But Trevor
wanted to see I wanted to see The Mule, but the timing didn't work out.
Trevor went and saw the #6 movie, Vice.
Ooh. What's that? Is that like Saw?
Yeah, they just put your head in a vice, and then you have to try to escape.
Ooh.
No, Vice is the movie about Vice President Dick Cheney and how he rose to power to control the country. And get it. And how the whole entire thing played out. Like, it's kind of like supposed to be like a biopic of his life. So you start from when like he failed out of college, out of Yale, and how he rebuilt himself to be the most powerful man, supposedly.
Like He-Man? Did he raise
America.
a sword above his head and said, by the power of Grayskull?
That's exactly how it happened. Now no one has to go see the movie.
Awesome.
It is the perfect mixture of facts, opinions, and comedy. Because there's the things that are like known as a fact, like 9/11 happened.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have things like that.
Well, I saw in the
and,
trailer they showed him shooting the judge when he's out duck hunting.
Dude, that
was a funny path that happened there.
That is 500% 2 seconds of the movie. It's a cut-in. Like, it has nothing to do with the movie at all. It's like it does something. It's like, what? It's like something. It's like someone's walking out. It's like, well, you can't always trust Dick, and then it just cuts to him shooting the guy in the face for 2 seconds, and then it goes back. Like,
really?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. It has nothing to do with the movie whatsoever. Doesn't explain what. Doesn't explain who got shot, why they were out there. It just shows that like you can't trust Dick sometimes. And it goes right back to the scene.
When the guy says it, does somebody go, "Am I right, ladies?"
But it was the perfect mixture of all three of those things. So like you have to take it with a grain of salt. I actually think it's something like a movie that Gittles would actually really love.
Why do you say that? This sounds horrible. Like I have no interest in seeing this movie.
I want to go see it.
Because it's actually, I think, represents the liberals' side more than anything about it. But I appreciated it for the comedy because you get to the point, you're like halfway through the movie where Dick Cheney helped H.W. Bush, and then they cut to a scene. It's like, oh, Dick, thanks for helping out. And you see like George Bush drunk at some galley. He's like, oh, I got to go take care of my drunk son. He's the black sheep of the family, and he walks away, which is funny. Because every time they talk about Bush, and they're like, "Oh, Jeb, no, he'll be president someday, though." They just keep subtly like taking jabs at like every Republican they can that comes through it. But at the same time, it gets to the point where once the like Clinton wins and Cheney's out of like any kind of public office, and then he just becomes a CEO of an oil company. So it switches to like Dick Cheney going, "Oh, I guess I'm going to quit politics," and then it says. Dick becomes the leader, CEO of an oil company. He now lives in Virginia with his wife, with his 2 daughters, and raises golden retrievers. And the credits start to roll. It's halfway through the fucking movie. You see like Christian Bale as Dick Cheney. And then all of a sudden it just stops like a record scratch. And it's the phone call saying that they want him to be vice president. And then the movie takes a completely different turn. And every time that Dick Cheney has a heart attack, it's hilarious in the movie.
I'm picturing like the ambulance when it's taking Homer to the hospital every time he eats the hot dog that's poisoned from Moe's. Oh, they had another heart attack.
Yeah, the first one, he's like giving a speech at a retirement home and no one gives a shit. And they're just like, "You did great, honey." He goes, "Yeah, it's just like the commercial. I don't want to alarm anyone, but I have to go to the hospital." And you find out he had a heart attack. And then the second time he's on the phone, like, "Yes, that's what we'll do, Mr. President. That's fine." And then like he just like cracks his knuckles and he's like, "Yep. Gotta go to the hospital," and you find out he had a major heart attack. So by the third time he has a heart attack in the movie, literally his 2 kids and wife are like, "Really? Again, Dick?" So I think it's the perfect balance, I said, between the 3 things. Because like me, who I'm not a political person and I don't lean one way or the other because of ignorance, and I choose to be that way.
I lean back and do the Rockaway.
I learned things. I took some things with a grain of salt because right at the end, like there's 27 executive producers and it's Brad Pitt, Will Ferrell, all these celebrities that in the public eye lean totally left.
Was this a Funny or Die movie?
That's what it looked like when the executive producer role came out. I was just like, oh, so I can't trust a lot of this because it's mostly all opinion.
Who was it? Who produced this movie?
So like the first name that came up was Brad Pitt and then Bill Maher and then Will Ferrell, all these things.
Yo, I hear the new Will Ferrell movie is so bad that people are walking out of theaters.
The distributor for Vice is Annapurna Pictures. ANNAPURNA, Annapurna Pictures. They put out Sorry to Bother You, Gittles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry to Bother You is great. Has a twist halfway through, just like Vice.
Black Mirror had Bandersnatch, which came out on Netflix. The 28th? Of December?
It was a week ago.
Yeah, 28th of December. And Gittles got to watch it before I did. I was waiting till that night to sit down and watch it. And like most of the people in the known world, they sit down at their television to watch it, where they get the Black Mirror logo and then a montage of every time somebody says sorry in all the episodes. And then it says your television your device is not equipped to handle the technology for this episode. And they're saying, feel free to watch it on your game console or tablet. So you couldn't watch it on TV, and you couldn't watch it through Apple TV if you were streaming Netflix through your Apple device. And I think Roku, the latest Roku could, but the older Rokus couldn't. They should have made this announcement ahead of time, because there was a lot of angry people. Like, how am I supposed to watch this? Because they didn't realize that their TV wasn't going to be able to handle this. Which is another thing that sucks about the widgets that are built into a smart TV, is that you can't update them.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah. They're just set in whatever version of the technology is placed on that chip there, and that's what you have to deal with for the rest of the time that you have television. It never updates for everything that's evolving. But anyway, so finally got to the point where I went and I watched it through the Xbox, and technically it's an hour and a half movie.
Yeah,
but it'll take you a lot longer depending on the path you choose, or if you go back to follow all the different directions that you can go with this. And I did that. I think Gittles did that, right?
Oh yeah, I did. I got to the end. I kept going back and like rechanging paths and changing things and seeing what other endings I can come up with.
It took pretty good. I spent at least 3 hours or so with this,
going
back and watching everything, and then I'm like, I guess I hit everything, and then all of a sudden there was a slight variation, and like, whoa, there's more. Like you kept finding these little branches. Like the spoiler, everybody. You should have.
There's gonna be spoilers throughout. So
spoilers. The telephone transition where you have to dial the phone number, right?
Yes.
It's weird that you get a slightly better ending if you don't dial the phone number or get it wrong than you do if you get it correct. It's just a little bit different, but what you realize is that every path you take with this poor kid is just going to get worse and worse. Like, this kid's life is just destined to be awful.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, there's the ending that I have figured out, which is the real ending, and then there's the ending which I feel is the most poetic ending.
Is it the 5-star ending that's the most realistic, or no?
No, the 5-star ending is the one that I believe is the true ending, because that's the one that ties us back.
That's what I just said, yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, no, I said the one that was like the more like...
poetic one.
Poetic one was the one where he goes back in time and died on the train, and then in the future world he just dies in the therapist's office.
Okay.
Did you not get that ending?
No, I saw all those. Yeah, where he wound up on the train. Where he wound up on the train where his mother died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to me, I feel like that was like the most poetic ending, because every possible path he had in the future was awful for him.
Yeah.
Like, it was
he
bad.
was
like,
always in jail.
He ends up in jail, or he murdered his father in one of a couple of different ways. You know what I mean? Like, it always ends up horrible. So at least in that way, like...
And oddly enough, the murdering of the father in the different ways wasn't the ending, because the ending was jail again. And depending which path you went, it was like he was in jail for this reason, or he was in jail for this reason. It was always in the same jail cell, but it was always for different reasons. Like, every path that you chose wound up with him in jail.
The 5-star ending one, you don't see him in jail, though.
No, the 5-star one, you see the newspaper article that he was arrested while they were doing the game review. You know, they were doing the 5-star review. You see the news that he was arrested for doing this, but you don't see him in jail. You're right.
But then you see the time jump, and she's programming the video game, which is the footage we just watched.
That's the daughter of Colin.
Yes.
Yes. That was fun too. That option. It's like dump tea on computer or smash computer.
Yeah. So, I mean, so you have the option of thinking like, did any of this ever happen? Was this all part of the game?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it could have been that way. I have a wacky theory, but you have to watch a lot of episodes to pick up the clues.
What's the wacky theory?
So you know how in Bandersnatch they use the same symbol that's in White Bear, like the little like kind of a like fork type thing. It's
right.
like that they use for the choices. So they use that in White Bear. It was used a lot in Bandersnatch. Now, you can kind of date the episodes. And what I mean is, if you get the 5-star ending, you end up with Colin's daughter talking about the video game she made. If you read the ticker on the bottom of the screen, it's talking about events that haven't happened yet in the Black Mirror world that we've already seen. So if you're watching the bottom of the ticker on the screen, it says like, bee pollinator drones almost ready for use in the world.
Right.
The bee pollinator drones were what was used in Hated in the Nation, and they killed all those people.
Right.
I rewatched Hated in the Nation the other day, and if you read the ticker on the bottom line, it says Victoria Spillane denied appeal again. Victoria Spillane was the one who was being chased in White
Bear. Yeah.
So the events of what's it called? White Bear happened somewhere in between the Bandersnatch and Hated in the Nation. So what I'm thinking
also,
is that
for those who don't know, when she's watching television in White Bear, where you see the episode start and she's staring at the TV, she doesn't know what's going on, is the flashing symbol with like an ominous noise of the that upside down sort of H-looking thing that shows that the paths branch off and you always have a choice. So that symbolized she had a choice, and that was the choice that she made, and that's where her ending was.
Yeah, so that's my theory, is that, actually my theory is that the Jerome F. Davies guy, the guy who wrote Bandersnatch, becomes a cult-like figure, and people start to like him because they think that they can travel through the multiverse, which is, when he picks up the book, it says The Many Lives of Jerome F. Davies. So I think the symbol in White Bear was used by them because they were killing the child because of a cult, because of Jerome F. Davies, the guy who wrote Bandersnatch. So that's my theory. Because if you think about it, she didn't have a path like the girl in White Bear. Like, she wasn't allowed to choose a path. Her path was chosen, and she had to keep living that path over and over again, and she couldn't change her path.
Well, that's not necessarily true, because she did choose a path to wind up at that point, and that was her ending.
No, but what I'm saying is, when we're watching her in the White Bear, Judgment Park, she doesn't have a path though. Like, they lead her where she's going every time, so that she constantly ends up being tortured and repeating that ending over and over again because she has no path out. She's stuck in that loop.
We can go a little meta with this then, so that she's stuck in that loop because that's her punishment of not having a way out, because she had a way out which led her to this conviction to get stuck in here, and that was her punishment, to take away her free will and her her choice. So she did have one and then lost it, and her punishment is to show her what it's like without, by making the wrong choice, that you no longer have a choice.
Maybe. Like, I wasn't thinking like that far meta. Like, I was thinking just like on an abstract phase of like she was kind of running in this same loop. Because think about it, the way that Stefan, sorry, the way his dad says his name every time, Stefan. It just makes me laugh. But the way he wakes up every day is kind of the way she wakes up every day in White Bear, like gasping, taking pills, and then starting her day. Like, that's how he starts every one of his days inside Bandersnatch. So I don't know. That's how I think they tie together. I think the guy who wrote Bandersnatch is going to become like a very important figure in the Black Mirror world that we haven't seen yet. And the symbol is going to be used by people who worship him or follow him as a means of respect.
All right, now, like a religious cult kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay, now let me ask you this then. So as we trace through the whole history of Black Mirror and everything we just learned through Bandersnatch, all right? So Bandersnatch was the book by
the Jerome Davies guy.
The what was his first name?
Jerome Davies.
Jerome, thank you. So he was the guy that figured this out. Yeah, he was the guy that figured this out and then went mad because of the infinite possibilities drove him crazy, which led it to like Manson-like murders. It was a combination of different influences for this guy's story. So then he has the book. People are following him. They know about him. It's sort of cultish. And he had these ideas for this Bandersnatch story, which then leads us to this movie where he decided to take that story and make the game out of it. And that's the first instance of the game, because as you jump later to Colin's daughter, she's trying to reboot the game again, right?
Yep.
So there's all these different timelines that all connect to each other here, involving this story, which becomes a game, which because the game now drives people crazy and it continues to do so. A human psyche is just not meant to handle what this game and what the story reveals.
Yeah.
So you have that, and then it's supposed to tie into the from season 3 where the other guy had the video game with the VR stuff, the Japanese guy, right?
It ties into that too, yes.
Okay, so where does that guy come into play if Davies is the guy who created the Bandersnatch thing that goes through its own progression? How does this video game guy tie into it? Because he does have the symbols on the table when the guy's first test the surfer dude guy is first testing the VR where he sees the whack-a-mole thing.
Yeah, but he doesn't have it has the Bandersnatch symbols?
Yeah, the little circles that look like coasters that are on the table are the Bandersnatch symbols.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I'll have to go back and rewatch that.
Yeah.
But in that episode, Bandersnatch is referenced on the magazine that the girl has in the when she gives it. It says, in the corner, it says Bandersnatch. And then in the Hated in the Nation episode, at the very end, when the ticker's going, it says Saito's new immersive video game technology is finally ready. So that means that the playtest episode happened before Hated in the Nation.
Okay.
Because he died during the playtest of it. So that means it wasn't ready for market yet.
No. All right, so now we still have yet to see where that the Japanese game creator falls into the rest of this.
Yeah, we don't know. There's I don't know. I also had the theory that Colin might have just been in control the whole time because he was the programmer, and I think he might have just controlled everything we did.
Right.
Because if you accept the job offer the first time, you know how you go back and you have to redo that loop. When you redo that loop, Colin is radically different, and he's the first time somebody is radically different in the show from something restarting. And he's like, didn't we do this already? Like, don't I know you? And he knows who Jerome F. Davies is. He didn't know who he was previously. So it's like there's weird things that change there.
Yeah, there's a weird little rip where stuff's bleeding through that he's remembering or sort of remembering things as time comes on. And then in one of the endings where he decides not to kill Colin, he said, well, thanks. And he's like, I kind of like this life this time or something like that. I kind of like my life this time around and I want to keep it.
I think my favorite line from Colin is when he's asking who's going to jump off the edge. And he's like, Pac-Man dies all the time. Doesn't bother him much.
Yeah. That Pac-Man analogy was really mind-blowing.
I think that's true, though. Player in control. I think that's what Pac-Man stood for because it was used to get people to get their hand-eye coordination down. But also, when he does that acid trip, he literally explains everything.
Yeah.
Thing, but you don't realize that until you go back and rewatch it after you've seen all the endings, and then you're like, oh, he explained the whole thing in this scene and I just wasn't paying attention.
Colin seems to be the only one that was, for the most part, aware of what was going on, where other people aren't aware that they're still in a loop. He was starting to, he may not remember everything, but there was enough to be familiar. He's like, we've done this before. Like you said, did I meet you before? He's becoming more aware of what's going on. And by the way, if you choose Colin to jump off the balcony is one of the funniest things. I was laughing.
That's the first thing I did. It was like, who's going to jump? I'm like, not me.
Yeah.
I'm like, going over. He's like, all right, here we go then. And I was expecting something cool to happen. And then something cool did happen. He just splatted on the ground.
And then
it's like, Colin, you're like, oh, fuck. Like, what is happening? You get that Black Mirror dread of like, oh, no, what did I do?
Yeah. When he showed up in one of my choices later on, because I was still going down a path. I hadn't backed up to try other options yet, and he showed up again. I just went, how did he come back here? How is he here? Did
you get the ending where the boss shows up to his house and then he kills the boss too?
Yep.
That one's pretty funny.
Yeah. A lot of good stuff.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun and creative. The only thing that sucks now is that they're saying season 5 is going to be delayed because of how much work Bandersnatch took. So I don't know when we're going to get season 5. We'll find out, but I'm very much looking forward to it. They already hinted at some clues of something that's going to happen in this season because it was the only thing on the news ticker that has not happened yet in an episode. And it just said CEO of something company upset about Russian bots. So it should be interesting to see what that's about.
Wow. Well, the only thing
It was the only thing that was on the ticker that didn't relate to another episode, so everyone's speculating that that's going to be about a future episode.
Yeah, the only thing I know about season 4 for Black Mirror is that Miley Cyrus is part of it, she said on Howard Stern. But other than that, is it 5?
Yeah, it's gonna be 5.
Oh wow, 5. So, my bad. When do we have any idea of when it's coming? I know it's this year, but there's no estimate on the date.
No, they just said the other day like that it's just going to be delayed, but they don't know. So who knows? I know like people have said filming wrapped for a lot of episodes like way back over the summer. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we get it soon, but maybe they're just waiting to space it out a little bit because of the movie.
Or that's probably it. But what if they do like they did last year? Last year, during the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, they ran an ad saying brand new Cloverfield movie immediately after the Super Bowl. And everyone's like, what? So what if Netflix does something like that again, where you're in the fourth quarter of the game and said season 5 Black Mirror right after the game?
I don't know. That'd be cool.
That would be very cool.
Or they just like premiered on like Valentine's Day or something like that. It seems like a very Black Mirror thing to do.
Trevor, you watching any of this or no?
I haven't seen one episode of Black Mirror.
Do you have any, is it piquing your interest to see any of this stuff or?
The whole idea of like, of choosing your own storyline is really interesting.
Well,
but
that's
now that
just
I know
for this
every ending-
movie. Yeah, this is a movie which they don't normally do.
Black Mirror is on my to watch list, but it's not high up there.
If anybody out there listening who's like Trevor and doesn't know really what Black Mirror is, it's very Twilight Zone-ish, but it's more technology influencing your life and what could be. And the weird thing, it's almost like Simpsons did it, because some of the stuff that they portrayed in previous seasons are here, or they saw coming and they were like, you know what, that could be a thing, and that's what happened. The what was the video game with the robotic dog? Metalhead, right? There's an episode where you just it seemed so out of place, out of nowhere. It was just these people being chased by these robotic dogs, and you're like, it didn't explain how it tied into anything. Then this past year, what happened? That news footage came out of that tech company in Boston with the dogs going up and down walking up the blocks, moving their arms to open the door and stuff like that. And everyone was freaking out about it. And they're like, oh my God, Black Mirror saw this coming. And then in Bandersnatch, it ties all together.
So then you have to think, was Metalhead, the episode we watched, something that actually happened, or was it just Colin's daughter redoing the Metalhead game to be new 3D graphics?
You know what? I'm going to have to go back and watch Metalhead now.
Well, yeah, because who knows? I mean, it's a very quiet episode. It's just robotic dogs hunting people.
Trevor, if you get a chance to, I definitely recommend you trying out the Black Mirror series. I think you might enjoy it.
Yeah, it's great.
I will try.
Moving on to another thing Netflix put out that got a lot of attention was Birdbox. Now, Gittles got a chance to see it again before I did, and he was already telling me in text his impressions of it, and I said, I don't know if I'm even going to watch this, because after Gittles wrote to me, it was all over social media about how horrible this movie was.
But it was also like all over social media how good this movie was.
Yeah, that was weird too.
This movie, I feel like they had like massive viral marketing campaign just giving out positive reviews about it. Because I have talked to, out of everyone I know who's seen it, I've only talked to one person who was like, I liked it, but that's how they said it. They're like, I liked it, not like, oh, it was really good or it was this great movie. I think we were all just duped to see a movie that was Quiet Place meets The Happening, meets The Mist, meets every other fucking movie.
There's no in between with this. Like all social media platforms that I've looked at is I loved it or I absolutely think this is garbage.
Yeah, the memes are way better than the movie. Like the memes have been fantastic, but the movie is terrible.
Do you think, the movie is terrible, and we're going to get into that in a second, but the people who like it, do you think it could be a combination of people who are just, Netflix fanboys that just like anything Netflix puts out, but also the fact that they made such a big deal about this movie where you have, a strong female lead in Sandra Bullock, but also this lady, Suzanne Bier, I think her name is, who's the director of this movie, and that seemed to be the big focal point of the promotion. That's like directed by by this woman with a woman lead, and it was produced by women, and like, so it was like, was it people just saying it was good because it was a big pro female movement? And
I didn't know any of that stuff until you just told it.
You didn't see that? Because I saw that all over. Because I was researching why people like this movie, and that's what I kept seeing about this Suzanne Bier.
I was following all the links of people saying, "Who's Sandra Bullock?" And then people being like, "Don't you know she drove a fucking bus over an overpass?" Like, you know, people like. I was watching all that stuff. I honestly had no idea that like the director and the producers and all that shit.
And that was, if you don't remember, that was the classic movie, The Bus That Couldn't Slow Down.
Oh yeah, it was.
It was.
Yes.
It was a 90s movie. You should definitely go and watch it if you don't really know the works of Sandra Bullock.
All I've learned about Sandra Bullock in the last 2 days is don't travel with her anywhere.
Yeah, don't. Like you're either gonna have to jump something, you're gonna be in a boat with some stupid kids and a bird going down a river for whatever reason to escape aliens like that. You don't.
Yeah. Or you'll wind up in space and get cut from the shuttle. Yeah.
And then you crash back down to Earth. Yeah, like don't get on anything moving with Sandra Bullock. I wouldn't even get on an escalator. Like might die.
There was a movie that I told you about, Gittles, a while back. That I realized they made a second movie that I accidentally found on Netflix, and I saw the original.
Skyline, right?
Yes, Skyline. Now, the reason I bring that up is because the way people were infected by the alien invasion in Skyline, spoilers, it's a horrible movie, but it's a good bad movie to watch. They would look up and they would see this blue light that the aliens would use to control the human beings and draw them closer to their deaths, right?
Yeah.
So their eyes would get all what looked like crusted and infected, but it was really this blue chemical or this whatever the light does to you turned your whole eye region into this blue stuff, and then you're just staring up into the sky before either they killed you, they sucked you up, or you killed yourself. In Birdbox, it was like the smoke from Lost that you barely ever saw, but the second they look at it, they were staring up like Skyline and staring up into it, and that was controlling them, and then within a matter of seconds you would inflict harm upon yourself.
So stupid.
It was. The whole thing was stupid. Although I did find it funny at the beginning of the movie when Sandra Bullock, who's pregnant, falls down in front of the house, right? And everybody's like mob trampling her and running away. And then one lady comes out of the house to help her, looks up, gets caught up in the whole thing, and then just kind of slowly walks into a burning car, sits down very gently, like puts her seatbelt on and closes the door. And you watch her burst into flames, and then the car explodes. Yeah. I know that wasn't supposed to be a funny moment, but it was just so bizarre to see that I just that was my reaction. I laughed at it.
Oh, it was so dumb. Like, everything that happened in that movie was stupid.
Did you not like Machine Gun Kelly naked the entire time?
Ugh. Oh, so dumb. And I went online because I was like, you know what? I'm going to find an explanation for this, because I had people tell me like, oh, they were demons. Oh, they were spirits. Oh, it was this. I'm like, you know what? The internet will tell me. So I go on the internet and I read an interview with the director, and she's like, oh, it was an alien invasion movie. I was like, could have fooled me.
Didn't seem like any kind of alien invasion movie. There was nothing hinting to that.
And they make you kill yourself because you see something that's so scary that the only thing you can do is want to die. And I'm like, okay.
That's bullshit, because when you looked at it, your first reaction, at least according to the characters in the movie, there was like, it was something so beautiful and stunning that you couldn't pull yourself away from it. It was attracting you, and then it flipped a switch that you went to kill yourself.
Yeah, because I think what it does is, like, what it was doing was
it's a bait and switch. Yeah,
greatest memory, and then just like completely destroying it in front of you, type thing. I don't know. It's fucking stupid. But here's the dumb thing. All right, so these aliens or whatever, they come to Earth. They're making everyone go all fucking blindfolds, because they can't see them. Like, how did they not get through a door? Like, they can't go through a wall? Like, what kind of fucking shitty aliens are this? They got to Earth. They can't open a door. Like, people could just be like, well, we just have to go outside, and these aliens won't kill us. Like,
and they're peeping Toms. They're looking through your windows.
Yeah, like, the worst thing we could have to do is drive blindfolded to the store, which is a fantastic challenge. I think everyone should do it while doing the... what was it, the Kiki challenge, where you jump out of the car blindfolded and dance, or whatever it was?
Do you know how that's brilliant? Do you know how great if the Kiki challenge met the untimely death of the Birdbox challenge?
Or they just crashed into each other on a road while everyone videotaped it and just said, it's the Birdbox challenge.
Should that be the episode title, the Kiki Birdbox challenge?
Yeah, just everyone died. But seriously though, how do they not get into a house? Like, they don't have the power. They can't even knock down a wall. They can't break a window.
Gittles, they're not velociraptors. They're aliens.
But they're aliens that could make you kill yourself by looking at them, but they can't open a door.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. That's some stupid shit.
If it was explained that later on it was some kind of nerve agent that was released into the population that caused people to hallucinate and then kill themselves, is more realistic than, oh, it's aliens you couldn't see. Like, you have to at least give the hint that it's an alien invasion, and if you don't want to show the aliens because it tells a better story, that's fine. But you have to set the premise that it was an alien invasion. That's what's, that people need to know, that not just a series of random events going on. Oh, let me tell you what was really going on.
Yeah, you know what the aliens showed them? The aliens showed them the rest of the script, and then they fucking killed themselves because they didn't want to be in the movie. That's what happened.
Also, they showed that they were such a superior race that they could master space and time travel, make it all the way to this planet, but they couldn't open a doorknob.
Yeah, oh yeah, what's going to happen? It's going to be like Kang and Kodos, like, oh no, he's got a board with a nail in it. What do we do?
Soon they'll destroy themselves as they build bigger boards with bigger nails, and then we'll take over.
It's so stupid. Like, it's so dumb. And then, like, what's the point of the birds? Like, the birds just, like, the aliens don't like birds? Like, I don't get it. How did a blind guy tell them how to get where they were going?
Right.
Like, they went down a river. It was literally, no joke, the blind leading the blind down a river that turned into the movie Wild River for, like, a minute. And then I thought the guy was going to be John C. Reilly, who came out and was like, come to the boat. Like, repent. The alien gods like you, because if you had any kind of mental health issue, you apparently worship these aliens as gods. Like, it's fucking stupid. I watched a good portion of the movie, but then I was skimming through stuff, right? And I told Gittles, I got to the end and I watched it, and he's like, no, you can't skim it because there's even worse stuff to get mad at. So I went, okay, I went back and started watching a bit more, and I'm glad I did, because that fat girl who winds up having the kid, having the baby. Same time that Sandra Bullock starts having a kid. Like,
yeah, that fat girl is so annoying that I really didn't care that she died.
Nope. And like, she had this like smile the whole time where I was like, does she know she's in a horror movie? The whole time she was like, hey guys, we're all gonna die. Like, she just had this stupid smirk on her face, and I was just like, I don't know, I didn't like her. Then she let that other guy in who was obviously like a bad guy. Like, everything was predictable about this movie. Like, even John Malkovich's character, he's like, the only way to survive is to be an asshole. And guess what? He was right, because he was an asshole the whole time, and everyone was nice, and they let that shithead guy in, and then they died.
Yeah.
So he was right. Be an asshole in the apocalypse, and you'll survive.
A couple of trailers were also released before we get out of here. One being on New Year's Day, around 1 a.m., they released the trailer for Stranger Things 3. The teaser for Stranger Things Season 3.
I didn't see that. The teaser or the teaser poster for the teaser?
Both. They put out the poster and they put out the teaser for it. And I think it's coming out July 4th.
Yes.
If I remember correctly, it's coming to Netflix. So we got another 7 months to wait for Season 3. Also, just released today, the day that we're recording all of this, the teaser/trailer for Punisher Season 2 on Netflix. It's Frank Castle having an inner monologue, and that's pretty much it, setting the tone for Season 2 without really showing anything from Season 2. So this is, I guess, a teaser that's going to lead to a full trailer soon.
Yeah, I'm pumped for it because it shows, like, basically, if you remember from Season 1, spoiler alert, he basically has a clean slate. Like, Frank Castle, once again, is dead. And he's got a clean slate, and he can live his life, and he could finally supposedly move on. But from the teaser trailer that you see now, he's going to do what the only thing that he can do now in life, which is kill people and make things right. And it shows that there's going to be more of an evil villain instead of him just fighting, the people that killed his family or some kind of like evil government. It seems like there's actually going to be like an evil villain type person that he's going to be hunting this whole entire time. So very excited to see Season 2 coming out very soon.
Do we have a release date for that?
January 18th.
Nice.
Which is, you got all Martin Luther King Day weekend then to binge it. And then, who knows what happens, with the rest of the Punisher, if it goes the way of Daredevil or Luke Cage or anything like that.
I think that's what's going to happen. Like, they'll do because the stuff that's already done and set to be released, Season 2 for Punisher, and then Jessica Jones Season 3, which is already done. And I think after these air for a while, that those will also be canceled. I think all the Marvel stuff is leaving Netflix.
Boo earns.
Well, who knows? You know, Disney's streaming service starts up in the fall. Who knows what they do with these properties? So that was.
See you at the game, Joe.
Anyway,
He's gonna blow his head off.
There were other shows that we can save for next week. Next time, I want to talk about The Masked Singer. It debuted here in the United States, and then I got
so much better than I thought it was going to be.
Me too.
Don't they match one of them in the ring and then kill them?
No, it's not like Lucha Libre.
Oh, well, I'm not watching that.
And then I got to talk about the horrendous Doctor Who New Year's Eve special, and how this last season just really shit the bed with everything. But that's for another time. Let's go around the room and do the plugs. Gittles, what do you have?
Gittlebase on the Twitter, Instagram, and Xbox Live. There's a possibility I'm going to do the Soup Takedown January 20th, but I don't know yet. But I'll know by next week because I have to.
All right. Trevor, what do you have?
At PTG Trevor on Twitter. I'm not allowed to do anything else anymore, apparently, because Dad says so.
Because I was never invited on the show.
What are you doing Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm busy. Go ahead, give the plug for it.
At Podcast Dummies, twitch.tv/Podcast Dummies. Finally back for the New Year Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Got a lot of good things already lined up for January, so check us out. Old past episodes are on YouTube. Still working on the iTunes.
For me, it's E-Rock Radio across the board on social media, but more importantly, the show, It's Eric Nagel, across the board on social media. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. 651-SMITHERS is the phone number to leave messages for future shows. That's 651-764-8437. The YouTube channel, I'll post it on social media. The entire playlist for 2018, all the shows that we did are now available for your consumption. And what else am I forgetting? Oh, some news coming soon about another project that I might be launching in the near future. When those details are finalized, we will give that out. But there's some new stuff on the horizon to look forward to. And a new Radio Inquisition is, I think, almost done.
No one ever expects that.
So that should be coming out fairly soon as well.
You should fire your editor. Whoever edits that should really just step up their game. They take way too long.
They do. This is what's going to happen now, everybody. Because of Trevor, now it's canceled. You're not going to get anything anymore. Thanks, Trevor.
Not Trevor.
Boom.
Story of my life.
All right. We need to get out of here. Until the next time, everybody.
Be excellent to each other.
And have a wonderful time.
And we'll be seeing you.
It's Eric Nagel.
Alas, we're out of time.
Follow It's Eric Nagel on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. For ways to listen to the show, go to itsericnagel.com. And remember to tell two friends so they can tell two friends.
And they can tell two friends.
And they can tell two
And those two
friends.
friends can
And
tell
those
two
two
friends.
friends can tell two more friends.